This lunar eclipse in Virgo is the first eclipse of 2025 and really setting the tone for the next year and a half cycle of eclipses in Virgo and Pisces. It's the beginning of the end of a cycle of unhealthy fixation or obsession on details that don't really matter, and you're choosing to let go of these things to focus on things that are more spiritually uplifting commitments that you're passionate about. So if you're excited to dive into the astrology of this upcoming lunar eclipse in Virgo, make sure that you like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you are always up to date with what the stars have in store for you. If you are new here, hi, I'm Maren. I make astrology videos, and I also have exclusive content on passes if you want access to my courses or other offerings and predictions on there. And you can also find my music and other things down below. I do other things too, so yeah, go find that. So first, we're going to get into what to expect for the overall vibe of this lunar eclipse, what that means for the world and the energy of that time, and then we'll get into what it means for each of the signs and what to expect in your own personal life. So this lunar eclipse is happening on March 13th, 2025 at 11:55 p.m. Pacific time, so technically a day later in other parts of the world in Eastern time, but people will definitely be feeling it at least on the 13th. It'll be approaching during that time for everyone. And lunar eclipses are when the sun and the moon are opposite each other in a full moon, and they're on the nodes of the moon. And I have a video from a really long time ago where I talk about what the nodes mean. I still stand by that. It's a good video. So if you want more detail on eclipses, you can check that out. But long story short, lunar eclipses are supercharged full moons. Full moons are already high energy endings or tops of a cycle. It's kind of as if you are either throwing a party or having a breakup. Like, it's the height of energy of the height of a cycle. It's a climactic event. And the nodes of the moon represent extremes of the sun's orbit, and therefore they represent intensity and gravity and longevity of this event. So normal new and full moons really only kind of apply to that month that they're in, and that 30-day period of the lunar cycle around it. Eclipses are part of a year-and-a-half cycle and really play out over the 6 months following them. So a full moon being the height of a cycle or an ending, this is the beginning of that ending, or the beginning of something that will last throughout the next 6 months of letting go of something. So think of it as the decision to begin letting go of something that will take the next few months to really process and clear out, and it's happening in Virgo. So as a Virgo, I understand the negativity or the difficulties that can come with things in that sign. That can be meticulousness, that can be overanalyzation of things, really like missing the forest for the trees is a saying that I never use, but I hear about Virgo and it makes sense because I know the hyperfixation and the waste of time on little details that don't really matter. So Virgo, being a mutable earth sign, is all about adapting to the relevant things that are responsible and that you need to do in your life. It's about staying on your toes, but also realistic at the same time. So if you've been overexerting yourself or micromanaging something that's really taken your resources and your energy and your time because you're having to meticulously fix and refix and redo things, this is kind of showing the beginning of the end for this thing that's wasting your time with obsession over details. It doesn't mean that you shouldn't be worried about the serious things in your life or dealing with things that require attention. This is more like, okay, I'm gonna let go of the things that were micromanaging me and I thought I was managing them. I'm letting go of the obsession and the unhealthy fixation on little things in my life that don't really matter. The moon being in the third decan of Virgo, or the third of Virgo, means that it is associated with the 10 of Pentacles tarot card. So this tarot card is a card of wealth. It literally is like the culmination of gaining things and of growing in value. So usually when this comes up, it's about realizing what's valuable and where you've gotten. And this probably means that you're getting to a place where you're like, okay, I no longer need to worry, fix, and obsess over that. I have the comfort in these things in my life. I have the security in these things in my life. I'm not going to let these things that are obsessive and like nagging at me take over. I'm going to get rid of those intrusive thoughts or get rid of those habits that are not really relevant to my success and my growth. So this card also comes up when you're like at the end of a cycle and you're looking at all that you've built. So I think this is the beginning of the end of something that you worked on for a while and was really like something that you obsessed over, and now you're like, I don't need that anymore. I don't need to focus on that. Virgo is ruled by Mercury, and this decan is also ruled by Mercury. So the mercurial energy of being adaptable, mental, and logical about this really stands out. You're making a logical decision that the reward on obsessing over these things is not worth it anymore. And you're like, I'm done. I'm ready to leave this. The sun is then opposite that in the third decan of Pisces, and the sun is conjunct a lot of things, which does add very specific energy to what this is, as we'll get into. So sun in Pisces shows an energy of stepping into and highlighting spirituality, artistry, abstract feelings. It is highlighting that our focus and where we are excited right now is not the Virgo things, it's the Pisces things, which is fluidity and empathy and interconnection and faith about things. And this third decan of Pisces is ruled by Mars. So Pisces overall is ruled by Jupiter, which is abundance and growth. This third decan is ruled by Mars, and it's associated with the Ten of Cups tarot card, and it's known as the Lord of Satiety. This comes up when you've had enough of that feeling, of that sensation, of that energy. You've had enough and you are kind of getting a happy ending. This card literally comes up when it's a happy ending. So this does seem like you've gotten to a point where you are satisfied about the work you've done on something and you don't want to obsess over the little details anymore. You're happy. You did all that work. You did all that like fighting and working for something, and you don't want to feel as if you are obsessed with it anymore. And the moon is conjunct the south node. So the moon on the south node shows that the focus of the feeling is about letting go. The south node is about letting go and release. And moon is the feelings and the focus of the concern of this lunar eclipse. So there's an energy of letting go of those meticulous things. The north node is on the sun. So the north node shows growth and increase, and it's in Pisces, which is, like I said, is about empathy, relatability, higher purpose, and larger ideas of things. It's not about the details. It's not about the Virgo. Virgo and Pisces, like, they're two opposite ends, and right now we're showing a growth and focus on Pisces things and a letting go of and a parting with Virgo things. And this does not mean Virgo's bad and Pisces good. It just shows where the pendulum is kind of swinging right now. So with the sun on the north node, it's emphasizing solar traits. It's confidence, it is creativity, it is putting yourself out there and taking risk. And it's also conjunct Saturn and Neptune. Saturn particularly very closely. So Saturn is an energy of seriousness, responsibility, maturity, and boundaries. And that's a little bit paradoxical being in Pisces, a very woo-woo spiritual kind of energy, but it shows that the feelings and the energy that is inspiring you is something you're dedicated to. You are taking it very, very seriously what you are pursuing in your emotional fulfillment state. And it's also conjunct Neptune. So Neptune is the other end. It's much more in line with Pisces traits, which is artistry, higher level transcendence, spirituality. Saturn and Neptune together shows serious commitment to spiritual goals that are involved in what you're choosing to pursue over the minute details you once were. Saturn and Neptune together can be a little bit weird. It shows seriousness combined with spirituality, but it's kind of like the guru who makes it their passion to study spirituality, or the person that is committed to becoming an artistic savant in a way. It is combining the maturity with that integrity and that creative, empathic passion. The full moon is also loosely square Jupiter in Gemini. This is great. Jupiter being at that loose square point shows empowerment and optimism. Even in a square, Jupiter's good. So that is helping out with the optimism of this lunar eclipse. Mercury is conjunct Venus retrograde in Aries, which does show that some of the insights coming out now are because of the reevaluation of personal values, and what lights you up is what you care about. So Mercury and Venus together often indicates communication, public speaking, announcing something in a way that should be articulated well. It's a very common placement, like I have it. It's not that rare, but it usually does indicate a kind of like specificity or articulation that is intended to come across in a good way. So Mercury conjunct Venus retrograde is going to show that we're speaking about a change of heart, a reevaluation of where our heart lies, and we have rethought what makes us happy. We have reconsidered what our values are during this time, and we are speaking on it. It's loosely squaring Mars in Cancer, which isn't great. That can show that we have a short temper or are a little bit feisty with the way that we communicate, but it's overall not that big of a deal because this lunar eclipse itself is not making any challenging aspects to Mars. It's actually trine Mars in Cancer, which shows that we're able to take action and work towards what we're going after here. So Mercury and Venus retrograde in Aries can show already that we're talking a little bit intensely or feistily. The square to Mars isn't great, but I'd say that communication is not necessarily the focus of this full moon. More so, it is the spiritual insight within ourselves to commit to something of higher purpose instead of the little things bogging us down in day-to-day life. And overall, you're probably going to begin to let go of the obsessive extreme details about something that you no longer have that passion about. And there's probably going to be a newfound or just more fully developed spiritual focus for you to pursue and explore around this lunar eclipse. And then over the next 6 months, that's really going to actualize. So the inspiration will come around this eclipse, but the actions will take time to play out. Do not rush this. So if you have any thoughts or any comments, do leave them below. Let me know how you're feeling about this lunar eclipse in Virgo. I'm very interested to hear what you guys are planning or feeling about this energy. And now let's get into what it means for each of the rising signs. I'm going to start with Aries and Pisces and go into what this means and how it's showing up in your life based on your chart. So Aries rising, it's in your 6th house of physical health and coworkers. You're probably either letting go of a focus on a way of treating your physical health or a focus on maintaining your physical health in a way, or you could be letting go of managing other people, taking care of other people in the workplace, or working with a certain group of people, because any of these things could have been really draining your energy. Taurus risings, this is in your 5th house of dating or creativity or kids. You could be letting go of frivolousness with dating partners, with sexual anything, sorry, weird, but like it could be that you're letting go of something that you don't want to involving that anymore. It could be that you're letting go of partying or wasting time with that. It could also show that you are letting go of something creative in your life that you're no longer passionate or wanting to do. With the kids thing, it could show that like kids are moving out or there's less focus on them, but that's not going to apply to most people. Gemini risings, this is in your 4th house of home or family. You're probably literally just either moving out or getting further away from your family. It shows distance and letting go of things around home and family. So it's probably logistical, like you're literally moving out or traveling more around this time, but it could also be cutting contact or just not being as close with family members. Cancer risings, this is in your 3rd house of communication and productivity. So you're probably no longer doing busy work in a certain way. You're probably letting go of something that was a task that you had to spend a lot of time doing, and you're now just no longer doing it. So this isn't super emotional for most of you. It's not super deep. It probably just literally shows that you are letting go of something that was a big waste or drain of your time, that was a day-to-day task, commute, or thing that you had to do. Leo risings, this is in your 2nd house of money or income. You are probably letting go of an income stream or paying more than you're making for something. It doesn't necessarily show that you have a financially difficult time. It's not going to show that. It just shows that there's a lot of money leaving you or going out during this time. You could be making a lot of purchases. You could be paying other employees that you're hiring during this time. It could also show that you're no longer making money a certain income stream, so you are not getting money that way. But I want to emphasize that this does not show bad. It does not show broke. It does not show being in a financial bind. It simply shows that you are giving a lot more during this time. Virgo risings, this is in your 1st house of self. So this is about you shedding your skin, opening up, being more vulnerable. It can show weight loss. It can show cutting your hair. It can show just like generally getting rid of things that are on your body or part of you, and just like getting rid of general things that were once a part of your aesthetic. It can also show that you are having a lot of purging or personal letting go of things that were once part of your identity. It can kind of feel as if you went from maybe a very done up, very elaborate self-image and person to more vulnerable and real. And most of this is going to be superficial, aesthetic, and personality based, not necessarily deep or emotional. Libra risings, this is in your 12th house of mental health and inner spiritual world. You could be as extreme as cutting out an addiction, getting rehab help, and ending something that was a coping mechanism or a problem for you. It could also show that you are letting go of things like past trauma or inner issues that could be leading to things like nightmares, anxiety, stress, depression. Could just be a purging time of those cycles in your head, but overall shows a kind of mental clean out of things that are building up that are overwhelming your energy. Scorpio risings, this is in your 11th house of networking and friends. You're probably effortlessly or just happening to cut ties with large groups of people that no longer support you. When I had this transit rather recently, I remember that I just kind of fell out of contact with people who no longer were really convenient or in line with my values or my lifestyle anymore. It was not dramatic, and it was not anything that was a breakup of any kind. You will probably feel as if the social attachments or literal organizations that you were a part of kind of fall away, and they're not really your interest, and you could feel more introverted during this time. Sagittarius risings, this is in your 10th house of career. So you are probably either losing interest for or literally leaving a career field. This is not a sudden letting go or a sudden ending. It's a more gradual parting ways with something, which could show just a loss of interest and wanting to no longer focus your energy on that career field. It could also show that in general, professional life is not what's lighting you up right now, and that's not something you have a lot of energy for. It could show also that you could be doing something like selling a business or getting rid of something in a business sense. For a lot of you, it's probably going to be that you realize that you don't want to stay in the particular field that you're in and use this year and a half to transition. Capricorn risings, this is in our 9th house of philosophy, long distance travel, and higher education. So for some of us, it could be that philosophically or with a religion, we are losing attachment to that and no longer really believing, practicing, or wanting to study that. Same with education. It could show that you're graduating. It could show that you no longer want to study something or that you're losing interest in something academic. And if it's travel-based for you, it could show that you're no longer studying or living abroad. It could also show that you're ties, attachment, or like residency somewhere outside of your home country is coming to an end. This is not generally an emotional or relationship-based house. It's going to deal more with the study of something at a high level, religion, philosophy, or other types of mental commitments, or the end of something travel-based. Aquarius risings, this is in your 8th house of inheritance, assets, investments, and shared finances in general. It can show that you are paying off or you are getting rid of debts. That can be a big thing, that you are paying off things that you owe to other people. It can also show that you're generally paying off things like cars or homes or selling investments and getting rid of any ties to other people. So this is not really a money up or down indicator. Like I said with Leo risings, this does not show that you're broke or making less money or making more money or anything like that. It shows that the flow of assets and investments and ties to other people is leaving, and you could be selling things and making money. You could be paying things off and losing money as you pay them off, but you are getting rid of these ties to other people financially. And Pisces risings, this is in your 7th house of committed relationships. So for some people, it could show that you're growing apart from a committed partner and wanting that bond to kind of let you go during this time. For a lot of people, you're not necessarily going to have a breakup, but more so you're going to find that there's less excitement, energy, and lighting you up with partnership in your life. It's more of a time of being discerning, of focusing on yourself, of being super into self-development, and finding that other people just aren't filling you up right now. You are really doing the work and focusing on you. So if you have a partnership, it could show that there's just less fire and energy there. However, it could be totally fine with that, and this could be more about just not having the time or the energy for people that aren't really making effort in your life, because the focus really is on you. There are like possums or squirrels on my roof right now. I can fucking hear them like scratching and shit. It's always so creepy. Anyway, the tarot card that we have here for this lunar eclipse is the 5 of Swords reversed. So 5 of Swords upright, that's conflict, that's fighting. 5 of Swords reversed generally is like you are letting go of conflict. You are letting go of the fighting. You are forfeiting or leaving this bullshit. You want peace. You want clarity. You're not doing the fight. You don't want to engage in that. You don't want to have to suffer. You are choosing peace and clarity. So if you enjoyed this, do leave me a comment down below. Let me know how you're feeling and make sure that you like and subscribe. I hope that you have an amazing lunar eclipse, and I hope that things go really well for you, and I will see you in the next one. Take care.